Hey, 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 Beachbody Land. It is Jolee McLeod. I'm going to give it a second while I get my jazz going on for people to hop on. Happy Friday. Today we're going to be talking about, or I'm going to be talking about retention and duplication. So let me know that I'm in the right page before I get started. Hey, Janice, I'm glad you're here. Please let me know I'm in the champion. Okay, cool. I'm on the right page. I saw a thumbs up. All right, so happy Friday. I want to tell you a little bit about myself before we get started into this training. And I have a really bad habit of like squirrel mentality. So I'll like look at the questions after I am done and try to address them at the end if you'll have any questions along the way. So feel free to put them in the comment section. So I am Jolee McLeod. I have been a Teen Beachbody coach for, it'll be 3 years this August. I am 44. I am a mama of 2 kids. My son is Peyton, who will be 13 in September, and my daughter is Bartlett, who will be 11, or is 11. And I've been married to my husband, Brown, who also is a Beachbody coach. We have been married for 17 years. I'm also the founder of Team Dream Big. We are a 7-star diamond team. We are currently an 8-star qual, and we are also number 68 in the network. So it's a huge team effort. And so I feel it's really important to train the network and to help the network with this topic of retention and duplication, because I know that that is what has gotten my team to 7-star. I know that's what's gotten my team into 8-star qual. I know that's what's gotten my team to elite. And I also know that's what's gotten my team into number 68 in the company. So I want to tell you a tiny bit about my story, and y'all, this is going to tie back into the training, and it's really important to hear this. So when I came into Beachbody, I was a major skeptic. I'm a yoga teacher and a personal trainer, and I felt like Beachbody was like a little bit of a threat into the way that I operated my business with helping people get healthy and lead fulfilling lives, which is the mission of Beachbody, right? And so I came into this completely for me and completely needed something to like easy button fix me. I had put on about 15 pounds. I was doing that thing where I was taking care of kids all the time and taking care of my clients all the time and not taking care of me. And I was super embarrassed because I had let the 5 pounds creep on, and then 5 more, and then 5 more. And I also felt like a fraud because I was teaching other people how to be healthy and how to be mindful, and I was not doing that for myself. And so I crept into Beachbody completely wanting to like easy button 5 to 15 pound weight loss guarantee or your money back and then leave. I was not interested in shakes. I was not interested in coaching, and I was definitely not interested in finishing after. I was like a one and done kind of girl when I came in. And so it's important for me to be able to tell this story and retell this story and retell this story so many times, because I firmly believe that this is a storytelling business, and this is a business of relatability and also a business of meeting people where they are. When new coaches come in, their biggest objection is that they don't want to sell anybody. And I firmly believe that if you are given the experience and the ability to have your own transformation, whatever that means for you, and you're given that space and you are coached, then you will have your own story that you can turn around and duplicate and share with others. So you can share your experience, and it's through your experience that you help inspire others to create change, healthy change in their life. So I'm going to look down at my notes as I go, because I'm not going to lie, y'all, I'm really, really nervous right now. I shouldn't be nervous. I feel like Beachbody is like family for me. Okay, so, all right, so I talked about my story. So when I came into a challenge group, as I said, I was really skeptical, and I had to get into community first. And so I did not want to, I like had it on the calendar when my shakes were going to renew, and I was going to cancel. And so when I came into community, I first loved the support. That was the first thing that was lacking in my life, the accountability. And then I was the person that sold myself on Shakeology and the benefits of Shakeology, and then the benefits of Energize, and then later on the benefits of Beach Bars, and then later on the benefits of Recover. It was not because somebody was pushing it on me. It was because I was listening to other people's stories and how it was enhancing their own personal health and wellness goals. I found relatability, like found relatability with their stories. I chose to try it on my own. I felt it in my own body. And then I turned around and shared it with others. And that's what I teach my downline, and that's what I teach my coaches. And that's how I coach my challengers as well. So nothing that I recommend. I haven't already tried for myself, at least. And I'll go back to that as well. So I was in the business in the beginning of getting myself results, and I sold myself on the products of Beachbody. And so this is the path I teach my coaches. And so I treat this experience as a coach. So if you remember in my story, I am a yoga teacher. And so yoga is a passion of mine. And so I want everybody on the planet to be doing yoga. I think it's an amazing path for people. And as a yoga teacher, I took it on as a huge responsibility. If I had somebody in my classroom that was brand new to yoga, I wanted to be able to share this gift and like really up my game with when I was teaching the class, and making sure that I was catering to that student and making sure I was attentive to their needs or any mobility issues that they were having, because I wanted to be able to that student to leave the classroom where the gift had been given to them and they wanted to continue on with their yoga practice and self-discovery. And it's no different with this experience with Beachbody. I was given the gift of space for myself to create an inner and outward transformation for myself. And I don't take it lightly when people trust me to be their coach. I want to do everything I can as a gift, meet them where they are, hear what their goals are, hear what their fears are really, and then guide them through the experience so that they can leave with the experience or get through a challenge with the experience where they never want to leave it like I did. So I truly treat this like a gift. And so if you treat it like a gift, it's going to help with your retention. And if you teach your downline to treat it as a gift, then it's going to help with retention as well. So the first thing that I want to say, and I don't know what your upline does or what you do personally with your own business, but I will say that I teach my downline that you have to be on Shakeology in order to be in my challenge group. So imagine Jolee, so I always refer to myself pre-Beachbody as Jolee 1.0. Imagine if my coach came to me in the beginning and I said from the beginning, 15 pounds have crept up, which is hard for a woman to say. I need your help. That's another thing that's a hard thing for a woman to say. I need to like one and done and like get this weight off of me. Thank God there's a 5 to 15 pound weight loss guarantee. I don't really have a lot of money to do this. Like objection over objection over objection over objection that's coming up. Imagine if I said all of this and then my coach said to me, you have to have Shakeology to be in my challenge group. That's not meeting where you are. You really want to get people, have the gift, get people into community, and then allow them to sell themselves on it. And so, so what I try to do is now duplicate the experience that I had as a challenger into my downline and also into my accountability groups. So what I am duplicating is my experience, but getting the challenger or the business builder to have their experience. So they're not going to have my exact experience. Obviously, they're not going to have my exact experience. What I'm trying to get them to understand is that you need to come into this, whether you're a challenger or whether you're a coach, you need to come into this and be allowed to have the space to do the first vital behavior, which is be a product of the product, right? Get yourself results. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So I have recently made this shift in my business. So I can say in the beginning that, not recently, maybe in the last 6 months, in the beginning, my focus was challenger based. Like I was only talking about joining my challenge groups on my stories, on my social media. And that was where my focus was. And I was dribbling a little bit of the coach opportunity. And I was having a hard time in my mind how I was going to, because the reason why I got into this was because of my love for what this had done for me and wanting to be able to pass that gift on to others. And so I'm thinking, like, how can I continue to grow my team, grow myself, and then reach my financial goals if I want to continue reaching more people and finding business builders. And so I'll tell you the wrong way I did it. At first, I had brought on a couple of builders. They came on completely wanting to do the business. They signed up challengers. They put them in my challenge group. They did not have a transformation, and they quit. They quit the business, and in my mind, they quit on their clients, and they did not give a gift to their clients. And so I was like, okay, that did not work, Jolee. I've got to figure out a way this is going to work. That's in alignment with me wanting to be able to help people get healthy and live healthy, fulfilling lives and have their version of a transformation and build a business. And so now the shift is, and this is what my team does, is that we have this phase one of bringing coaches on board. Or business builders. And so when we bring a business builder on board, we assure them in the coach sneak peek that their first job is to get a transformation. Like their job is to get themselves results. Their job is to, we teach them the vitals. We teach them to be the best possible challenger in a challenge group, not just like post shake. That's the worst. Or like dirty 30. I mean, we want selfies. We want motivational quotes, recipes. Just start showing up as a really cool challenger in the challenge group. And also to start becoming a cheerleader in the challenge group. Because really that's what we are, right? We have these amazing tools, this amazing nutrition system, amazing products in Shakeology, Energize, Recover, all the products that we have that I trust for myself and my family. And we are hired to be cheerleaders. And so what an amazing job that is. And so what I am teaching my downline and my new builders is how to show up to be a good human, how to be a cheerleader. And so their job is to drink their shake daily. And so I really hone in with my new coaches to make sure that they find a blend that's going to work for them, that they're not just shaking it up with water, that they are mixing it up with fruit, with a veggie. I'm really making sure that that they are falling in love with it through their own self-discovery and holding them accountable to drinking it. And so how do I do that? I put them in my challenge group, and they show up as challengers in my challenge group, and become those cheerleaders, and their job is to be the best possible challenger in the challenge group. And then I also hold them accountable in a separate thread of coaches where they're posting challenge group stuff in there, but I'm also starting to answer any sort of curious business questions in a separate private thread with their crew that's joined at the same time in that month. And I like this because I feel like when you come in as a business builder, you're having a double layer of accountability. You're having accountability as if you were a challenger, because to me, you're always a challenger. So you're having accountability in a challenge group. You're learning what it's like, the culture of a challenge group, of how to show up every single day. And then you're getting a double layer of accountability in a private thread with like your new virtual besties that are all cheering each other on and creating community, like a freshman class, creating community coming into the coaching experience. And so I'm keeping ties with them here, and then I'm also keeping ties with them in my larger challenge group, my large Dream Big challenge group. So I think that's all I want to say about the phase one as a challenger. They're getting results, they're learning the nutrition, they're showing up for themselves. And honestly, y'all, that's what I forgot for 40 something years. I forgot to show up for myself, and being in community with men and women that allow that space to show up for themselves is where the magic sauce happens. And then all the Shakeology and everything else that gets layered on it that you discover for yourself how it works for your own personal goals. It's just like the cherry on top. And so now I've gotten myself through with talking about duplication. I've gotten coaches to go through their challenge group, and while they're going through their first phase of their challenge, they're talking to friends about how good they're feeling, and they're just telling a story with like over coffee with people. So remember, I'm trying to teach my, I just realized I didn't turn on my diva light. Did I look more diva-like? So sorry. So I'm trying to get them to learn, keep on retelling and retelling and retelling their story, because the more you tell your story, the better you get at it, and the more you become, right? The more you're reminded of how much you have changed, and the more the story sort of changes along the way. My story has changed along the way since Jolee 1.0 to where I am now. So I'm also getting them to start dribbling their story a little bit in social media. So talking in their Instagram stories. I'm getting them to talk about it in hard posts on social media, trying to get them to start storytelling, learning the art of storytelling. And I'm helping them do this in that coaching thread together. And I always tell my coaches that coaching thread is meant for you to support each other when it comes to social media. And I don't personally scroll social media, I go in with intention. And so I make sure I let my downline know that if I'm not supporting you on social media, it's because I just haven't seen it. Please let me know in these coaching threads. And then I'll be all over it like a baby that's taking its first steps. Like, that's what I always say. I'm like all over it. Like Mama Bear will be there all over it. And so I also, once I start to get them into the coaching community, things that I have done to encourage my downline to do scary stuff like what I'm doing right now and go live, is to go live in a sneak peek and to tell their story. So if I am running a sneak peek and I've got a coach that's coming in with me, and I'll just have them go live for like 5 minutes and tell their story of how they got into coaching, or tell their story of their transformation. Or I encourage them to run free groups, or I've run free groups with my new coaches before. And in the free group, when it's their day to talk about a topic in the free group, they start there before the topic starts. So say like they're presenting a recipe or something. Before they talk about their recipe or whatever it is their topic's going to be, I have them tell their story. And so it gets them more comfortable with telling it to a broader range of an audience, and also talking in a live setting as well. So I really try to stress to them and remind myself that this is a storytelling business, and the more you tell it, the better you get, and the more you evolve, and the more you become. And I truly believe that. And as coaches, I get coaches. It's funny because as soon as I went live, I was in a bunch of my coaching threads, mentoring and catching up with my coaches, and some of them were coming up against objections, and I was like, thank you, universe, for giving me these things that I could talk about as I go live on the Champions page. And so oftentimes, and I did this early on when I started coaching, is that when you come in and you've had the evolution of a challenge for yourself, you forget the 1.0 version of yourself. You forget who you were before you had the transformation, and any sort of doubts and fears and self-limiting beliefs you had about the whole experience. And so they get excited, new coaches, like, why isn't everybody doing this? This is so amazing. I've lost all this weight and I'm talking about it on social media all the time. And why aren't they doing this? And I remind them to continue to talk to that person as if they're talking to you 1.0 version ago. So when I am in the invite mode and I'm talking to new coaches, I remember Jolee 1.0. And I am talking to that person and meeting them where they are, and always using, guys, like it is like taped to the back of my office here, feel, felt, found. Always, I used to feel the same way. I felt this way when I came in, and this is what, this is what I found. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about are common questions my teams have and new coaches have when they come in. Oftentimes the new coaches come in, they have objections about cost. I remind them feel, felt, found. And also about the money back guarantee. I always talk about the money back guarantee with my downline and with my new coaches, and to not be afraid to be able to tell that to people, because that was a huge thing for me when I came in. Another thing that somebody just came into one of my coaching threads, and she's got somebody that doesn't do shakes. I'm not going to do shakes. And wants to know what happens at the end of 30 days when they cancel their shakes. And so when I when a client comes into a challenge group, and I teach this to the coaches in my downline, when it comes into my challenge group, I know they need to be on Shakeology to be in my challenge group. So I set the expectation up front that you're going to get a year of streaming, and you're going to get all this stuff, and you're going to get a 30-day supply of Shakeology, and you're going to get 30 days of my coaching. And if you decide that you are done with my coaching, then you're going to continue to keep the streaming. And so if somebody comes into me and says they don't want to have the shakes, totally felt the same way, just try them and see how it works. Know that there's a money back guarantee. And then put a reminder on your calendar. You're also going to get a reminder from Beachbody 7 days prior, and it's a very easily cancellation process. So done with that objection, you're meeting them where they are and reminding them that you felt the same way. And then if you bring them into community, and if you pour love into your challenge group, and if you have community that's drinking Shakeology because you're drinking Shakeology, and you're seeing how good you look and how good you feel, and this is part of your daily routine, and they're wanting to, they have health and wellness goals, then let them discover that for themselves. You want them to take the yoga class. Back to my comparison before. You want them to get into community. That's the first thing you want them to do. You want to meet them where they are, get them into community, and then let them decide, because you're running such a kick-butt challenge group and having amazing community, let them decide what they want to do. And yes, you're going to have people cancel. Yes, you're going to have people that still won't get into community. And you got to learn, like, bless and release, and keep on having conversations, and know that those people may come around again one day. So let's see, I think I just covered that. Somebody just said they want to cancel after their first bag. Another thing I say when they say they want to cancel after their first bag, of course, yes, you can. That's why you get an email from Beachbody. 100% you can cancel. But you just make sure that you're pouring into that person as a challenger, helping them with their goals, holding them accountable every single day, and then let them sell themselves on the product. And then the last thing I want to say, two more things I want to say about the objection thing. A lot of my coaches come into my mentoring coaching threads dealing with lots of objections. We get objections, so many objections. So health and wellness, guys, is so personal. The person has to be ready. When you pull the people to do it and force them to do it, those usually are the ones that fall off. So you have to meet them where they are, and like also practice a lot of bless and release. And yes, we do have an answer practically for every single objection on the planet. But when you are talking to someone that has tons of objections, and you're coming right back with them with solving the objection, what that person is probably going to feel sold. And so I do a lot of meeting where they are, trying not to convince them because they need to convince themselves. My number one goal is to do anything I can to get them in community, and then for them to sell themselves on the community and the Shakeology and the other products that we have, because they feel it in their own bodies and they are getting themselves results. And oftentimes I have to bless and release people that they are not ready. So usually objections or some sort of fear that the client has. And so the objection usually turns around for me the very next day to be my social media post. And that is what I teach my downline is that, and it's not overt, it's not aggressive. It is it's just what is. And if you're having conversations on the back end of Instagram and on Facebook, and with people going back and forth with objections, and you're not pushing them and selling them, because if you ever feel like you're selling them, you are. And then you go and answer the objection on your social media, I can 100% say I've had people with that thread come back to me and said, okay, I saw your post. I totally get what you're saying. I'm going to try it. And so handling objections in like a nice platform like that and using it as a nice post, and y'all go back and look at my social media, and a lot of my downlines like, oh, I know what objections she had today. They can tell from what I have posted that day. And I always felt them in the hard post as well. And when I'm talking on my stories, I keep on looking at my time because they told me to keep it to 20 minutes and I'm at 26. Oopsie. Okay, so where am I? Look at my notes. Okay, the last thing I want to say, well, this is not really about objections. Y'all, I cannot express the importance of pouring into your challenge groups. And in the beginning, as a new coach, that was like getting people into my challenge group and then like in my challenge group all the time was a huge priority of mine. Now I'm not in the challenge group as much. Like I have a rhythm to it. Like it's like morning, usually lunchtime, and before I go to bed, everybody in my challenge group has been touched, has been given a comment on every post, and yeah, so I'm showing up in my challenge group that way to make sure that they are feeling the love and the support. So you can't ghost your challenge group. You have to be in the challenge group. You have to show up as a challenger in the challenge group. You have to post your Shakeology every single day. You have to post your workouts every single day. You have to post your nutrition, non-negotiable, okay? You have to be a product of the product in order for this to all work, guys. So the last thing I want to wrap up with is what you're really duplicating for retention is their version of what Beachbody's company mission is. To live happy, healthy, and fulfilling lives. And so yourself, so right now, if you have not gotten a transformation, if you are not on Shakeology, if you are not following a program, before you start to you're building a house of cards. You're building something that is not duplicatable. You're building something that's going to sound icky and salesy. You have to do that for yourself. That is the number one priority, is to get yourself results, have a transformation, and continue on that path, that daily path every day. Show up every single day. Find your version of a happy, healthy, fulfilling life, and then talk about it constantly. All over your social media. Talk about it with friends. Talk about it in your challenge group. Keep it fresh, because you're constantly finding more people following you, and not everybody knows your story. And then you got to get them to where you get them into community. meet them where they are, get them into the community, and then you got to support the heck out of them. I loved it in the last summit. I forgot who spoke up on stage where she said, our job starts at the point of sale. And I'm going to take that one step further. I feel like my job starts at the point of conversation. So when I am like sending an invite out and somebody says they're interested, send me information, and I'm trying to figure out what their goals are before I send them information, I'm like, game on, I'm your coach. You know, like, I want to hear where you are, I want to help you, and I want to meet you where you are, and I want to align you with something that's going to work to help you with your goals, because at the end of the day, everybody needs this. I truly believe that. Everybody needs Beachbody in their lives. And once they get into the community, let them be allowed to find that for themselves. So you support the crap out of them, and you're allowing them to find that for themselves at the end of the day. All right, so that's all I have to say. I'm going to scroll the comments. Oh, I love how so much of my team is here to see if there's anything. My friend. Okay. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, I love you too, Annie. Thanks. I'm very grateful that you're on my team. All right. Thanks, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll pop back and look at the comments later. Bye, y'all.